So you want to be a movement ninja. You want to have acrobatics, flexibility, balance, everything, strength, the whole package. But maybe you don't have necessarily a facility to train the full thing at. What are some of the best training styles that you might want to invest time and energy into? This can also be as cross-training if your focus is something else, or if you're just wanting to do whatever you want, whenever you want. So keep in mind that this is all within my personal opinion. Answer down below what changes you would make or what top 5 movement practices that you think are the best in what order. Number 5 is MMA. MMA is actually where I got my start, and I can speak from personal experience that it is one of the most diverse sports out there. People come from a multitude of backgrounds. You have wrestlers, grapplers like jiu-jitsu practitioners, and then you have strikers of many different sports, karate, kickboxing, boxing, you name it. Wherein lies some of the difficulty of MMA is the stylistic matchups. Every opponent you face is going to be different, and they're going to present unique challenges that you have to adapt to. Oftentimes the best in the sport rise to the top because of their ability to adapt to many different styles of opponents. You usually don't see the one-hit wonders make it to the top level of sport and succeed as a champion for any length of time. So MMA requires a ton of conditioning and drilling. A lot of the drilling that is done for jiu-jitsu or boxing or kickboxing can be applied to a movement practice that doesn't necessarily focus on martial arts and be extremely beneficial for most people. I think even if it isn't your focus to do MMA, that doing some or being able to train at a gym just casually would benefit most people in quite a way. As cross-training, as conditioning, whatever you want. If you have time or interest in the sport, I highly recommend checking it out. So number 4 is Capoeira, and this one I have the least amount of experience in. My experience is limited to watching a few tutorials on YouTube and teaching myself a couple moves. But it is on my bucket list, and it is something that I highly want to train. The reason it's on this list is because of so many of the people that are really good in the movement community got their start in Capoeira, such as the founder Ido Portal himself, and Tom Weksler is another great example as someone that is a great mover with a diverse skill set that got his start in Capoeira. Capoeira has a lot of martial art elements blended with dance and rhythm. One of my personal favorite things about Capoeira is the uniqueness of a lot of the moves. It doesn't move in as much of a linear plane as something like gymnastics. It has much more off-angle and creative styles of transitions, movements, and acrobatics. Capoeira requires an extreme level of conditioning, flexibility, mobility, and power, all of which are things necessary if you want to develop a diverse movement practice. Number 3 is gymnastics. Gymnasts are the ones with the best conditioning, in my opinion. They have the most strength, power, and flexibility on average of the 5 sports on this list. If you were to start off from scratch at a young age, I would say becoming a gymnast would be your best bet of learning a multitude of skills, because there's really nothing better that teaches you relative strength, flexibility, control, and aerial awareness than gymnastics. The reason it isn't listed higher on this list is because it isn't as creative as the next 2 on the list. It has a more strict rule set with certain requirements needing to be met, which doesn't allow as much development of a unique style, though there still is a unique style. Another strength of gymnastics is the amount of apparatuses involved in gymnastics training. Most sports are limited to just one single playing field or apparatus or something like that, but gymnastics has a multitude. You can think of the high bar, uneven bars, parallel bars, trampoline, floor, pommel horse, all sorts of things, rings, each of them providing unique challenges and unique benefits and requirements. An all-around gymnast can really adapt to most other sports with relative ease. If you ever get the opportunity to or have a great gymnastics gym near you, absolutely check it out, try to learn it. Even if you're not young anymore, there's still great benefit to be learned, and everyone can always get better. So number 2 then is breakdance. Now, breakdance is probably one of, if not the most creative of the movement practices that I've chosen. I just recently started to receive some training in this, and really the limitations don't exist on this. It's pretty much anything you can think of and you can do that looks good on the floor is a viable option in breakdance. It's one where you really see a difference in styles from one dancer to another, whereas something like gymnastics, all the techniques are judged to a certain standard, so everyone ends up doing fairly similar movements, though there might still be some stylistic differences. It's not as stark as you can see in breakdancing. They have different footwork, strength skills, power moves and stuff like that, which are the more flashy ones. And really, the conditioning that is necessary for some of these moves rivals that of gymnastics in some regard, though it's not as well rounded, I would say. And it takes into more musicality, dance, creativity, and then just making it up on the spot. Like a lot of times, people don't necessarily plan the full movement, but transition and stuff, going by the feel of things and how they feel that day, and what the crowd's reactions would be like and stuff like that. And you see the energy feeds a lot off each other. So when two dancers are more battle, you know, a lot of the times they'll try to outdo each other on certain moves or make fun of each other in certain moves and stuff like that. And it just really opens up this avenue for creative expression. And you also see with breakdancing, it borrows a lot from a lot of different sports. You see a lot of crossover from capoeira moves, gymnastics moves, and other similar things that breakdancers put their own little spin on it. So number 1 is parkour. So parkour really has a lot of the elements that we talked about before in the other 4 movement styles, but with parkour, it has a lot more influence from your environment. So as breakdancing is somewhat limited to the floor, parkour is not limited at all. Anything you can do, any environment you can traverse around, you can do stuff in, and within that there's limitless possibilities for creative solutions. And you see, similar to breakdancing, a lot of people have their own unique styles and unique movements, and you see amazing things coming all the time. People are constantly breaking new ground with it and really pushing their bodies to the absolute peak of performance. So it has elements of rhythm and flow, strength and power, balance, everything that you look for in a movement practice. And as well, it's an ever-changing environment. So if inspiration is ever lost in one location, it can be just simply move to a new location, and there's all sorts of host of new problems and new solutions to be found there. I really recommend, if you haven't got the chance to try parkour, try to find a gym that would teach you, or a safe spot to train by yourself or with friends, and just really try it out. I've gotten to do it over the last year, not as much as I would like to, but it really is kind of the most freeing of all the sports that I've done. And yeah, I just always have been in love with it since the first day I played Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. That really gave me the taste for it, and I've wanted to do it ever since. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to check the description for the list of videos that are used in this. I want to give credit to all the different creators, and make sure you check them out because there's a lot of awesome people in this video. The link to the original video is all there, and yeah, go show some of these athletes love. They're all awesome people and really an inspiration to me. So please check those videos out, and make sure to give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this style of content. Comment down below what your feelings are on these top 5 and what your list would be, and as well, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks.